Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
And today we are unpacking a source that I think stopped everyone in their tracks the moment they saw that title.
Oh, absolutely. We are diving deep into Jennette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died.
That cover alone.
Right.
Yeah.
The girl who played Sam Puckett on iCarly, holding a pink urn. And, you know, if you're expecting some glossy, gossip-filled celebrity tell-all,
This is not that.
not at all. You need to adjust your expectations right now.
Completely. The book itself and all the interviews around it, they paint a picture that is so much darker, but also funnier and just, frankly, more raw than your average Hollywood memoir.
Yeah, it's not really about being famous. It's a brutal look at a mother-daughter relationship where the boundaries were, like, completely non-existent.
It's about control, a child being manufactured instead of, raised.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to trace that timeline. We want to understand how Jennette went from being mommy's little actress to finally, and very painfully, becoming her own person.
And to really get why that title, I'm Glad My Mom Died, isn't just for shock, but is actually this hard-won declaration of freedom. We have to start where she starts the book.
The opening scene, it just floors you.
It really does.
So you have to picture this. Jennette is at the hospital, her mom is in a coma, the whole family's there.
Right. And her brothers are doing that thing you do, whispering sweet things to her, trying to coax her back. Wake up, Mom, we're going to get married, buy houses.
They're offering her a future normal life milestone.
Yeah, exactly. But then Jennette gets her turn. She gets a moment alone.
And she leans in and she whispers the one thing, the only thing she's convinced will work. She says, Mommy, I'm finally down to 89 pounds.
It gives you chills, doesn't it? Because you realize in that single moment, the currency of their relationship wasn't love. It wasn't school.
No, it was weight. To her, announcing she was emaciated wasn't some cry for help. It was an achievement. It was the ultimate gift she could give her mom.
And she's genuinely confused when it doesn't work. Like she thought, if this doesn't wake her up, nothing will.
So to understand how a kid gets to a point where starvation is basically a love language, we have to look at the house she grew up in. Because, I mean, the McCurdy household was, well, it wasn't normal.
Not normal
Yep.
is putting it very lightly. The book describes a level of hoarding that just sounds suffocating.
Floor-to-ceiling junk?
Yeah, clearance items, old newspapers. The garage was like a literal maze of rat traps.
And she talks about dead rats and possums just rotting in the clutter because they couldn't even reach them to clean them up.
Exactly. And think about what that does to a kid. There's no space for you, physically. They didn't even have a dining table.
This detail really stuck with me. They ate on the white thing.
Which was just this flimsy, like trifold mat on the living room floor.
Because the real table was buried, it just paints this picture of complete instability. And then you add the grandma living there, who's constantly scream fighting with the mom.
With knives involved sometimes.
It was a war zone. But here's the key part. Jennette thought it was normal. For her, sleeping on a mat and dodging hoarding piles was just Tuesday.
And in all that chaos, the one thing that gave the family any kind of structure was Mom's illness.
Right, the cancer. Her mom was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer when Jennette was only 2, and obviously that's a tragedy, but in their house it became, I don't know, almost like a religion.
It was the family's central identity. They had this ritual where every single Sunday they would watch a home video of Mom from when she had cancer the first time.
Mandatory viewing? For a toddler, that sounds so heavy.
It was meant to be. Jennette talks about watching her 2-year-old self on screen singing Jingle Bells. And her mom would say what a stinker she was for being happy while Mommy was dying.
So hold on, she guilt-tripped a 2-year-old for singing.
Constantly. She conditioned Jennette to believe her own joy was a betrayal of her mother's suffering. Mom used that cancer story everywhere she went.
So Jennette learns really early, Mom's life is fragile, and it's my job to keep her happy. Which brings us to her 6th birthday.
Most kids wish for a bike,
Right. Jennette blew out her candles and wished that her mom would stay alive for one more year.
Yeah. So you have this kid who feels responsible for her mother's survival, and then Mom decides she has a new dream. Or rather, she decides Jennette has a new dream.
To be an actress.
Pure projection. Mom failed as an actress, so she pivots to being a stage mom. She tells Jennette, I want to give you the life I never had.
And Jennette, who's naturally shy and anxious, just suppresses everything she wants because she can't stand the idea of disappointing her mom.
And some of those early auditions were rough.
Mhm.
The acting class where she has to do a monologue about Jello jigglers.
High-pitched, cutesy, mom coached every little expression.
Kind of gets dark really fast.
Yeah.
There's a story about her being a background actor on The X-Files.
Oh, this part is. It's pivotal. She's a little kid. The director wants the kids to look like they're suffocating in a gas chamber.
I mean, terrifying work for a child.
Most parents would be pulling their kid out of there. But after the take, mom is ecstatic. She's thrilled. Why? Because the director gave Jennette a close-up of her dying face.
The trauma didn't matter. The screen time did.
You're gonna be a star, Nettie. It's just chilling. But as she gets older, the pressure shifts to her body. You mentioned the 89 pounds. How did that even start?
She was 11, and she started getting worried about puberty. She knew if she developed boobies, as she put it, she'd age out of the cute kid role.
Which is, unfortunately, a real fear in Hollywood that usually a parent reassures you.
Right. Instead, her mom offers a solution. She sits Jennette down and introduces her to something she calls calorie restriction.
It sounds so clinical.
It's a euphemism for anorexia. But here's the really insidious part. Mom didn't frame it as a punishment. She framed it as their secret bond.
I do this too. We can do it together.
Exactly. Starving herself became the main way Jennette bonded with her mom. It was all framed as love and mentorship. Mom would count the calories, weigh the food.
And they'd celebrate the weight loss together. That makes it so much harder to escape. You're not just fighting an eating disorder. You're fighting the only connection you have with your mom.
And the tragic irony is, it worked. Career-wise, she stayed small, she looked young, and she booked iCarly.
And that changed everything for the family financially.
Huge. Suddenly, this teenager is the primary breadwinner.
Yeah.
She's paying for that hoarding house.
Yeah.
But reading about it, it doesn't sound like she felt proud. Just relief.
Relief that the family was safe, but also just so isolated. There's that story about her friendship with Miranda Cosgrove.
Oh, I loved this part.
Yeah.
Because it shows how normal Miranda was. She gives Jennette this really cool gift basket. You know, movie tickets, candy, stuff a teen actually wants.
And Jennette wants to give a good gift back, but mom steps in.
And forces her to give Miranda this, like, generic plush panda and a fuzzy journal. It's cheap, it's impersonal.
Why? Why do that?
It's control. If Jennette has a real equal friendship with Miranda, it threatens her enmeshment with mom.
And speaking of power dynamics, we have to talk about the other villain in this story. The man she only calls the creator.
Yeah, the showrunner. This part of the deep dive it's incredibly uncomfortable.
It really is. Jennette is barely 18, and the creator starts taking this special interest in her.
And it's not professional. It's grooming. He pressures her to drink alcohol, whiskey, and coffee cream, telling her it'll give her an edge.
At 18, at a work dinner.
And then there are the unsolicited massages, the comments about her being his favorite. And he uses his power. He promises her a spin-off, which became Sam and Cat, but he makes it conditional.
You get this show if you're a good girl and you listen to me.
It's the exact same mechanism as her mom. I will give you love or success if you are compliant.
She was primed for that kind of abuse because she'd been trained for it her whole life.
And when she finally leaves the network, they offer her money.
Oh, right. The $300,000.
They called it a thank you gift. But the catch was she could never speak publicly about her experiences at Nickelodeon.
Hush money, plain and simple.
And she turned it down. Which, given her financial anxiety, is just a massive act of integrity.
Absolutely. But while all this is happening at work, things at home are getting worse. You'd think as a teenager she'd get some privacy.
The opposite. The shower inspections. They continued well into her late teens.
Wait, she was 17, 18 years old, and her mom was still watching her shower.
Yes, and washing her hair. Mom's excuse was she was checking for lumps for cancer, playing on that old fear. But it was about ownership. Your body belongs to me.
God, that's suffocating. And then there's the email. This part of the book gave me whiplash. A photo leaks of her in a bikini on vacation.
Nothing scandalous.
No. And mom just explodes. She sends this unhinged email calling her a slut, a floozy, saying she's evil.
And she ends it with,
P.S. Send money for a new fridge.
That's the kicker. You're a devil child, but also the refrigerator's broken, so pay for it. It perfectly shows the transactional nature of the abuse.
So you have this pressure cooker, and then the cancer comes back, and her mom passes away.
And this is the breaking point. You'd expect, in a normal story, for the daughter to be devastated. And she is. Sure, there's grief. But there's something else.
Right after she dies, Jennette and her brothers are in a hotel hallway, and they start playing.
Yeah. They're drinking, laughing, wrestling. It's almost manic.
It's the release of pressure. The guard tower just went dark. The warden left the building.
But the programming, it doesn't just disappear. There's the funeral. She promised her mom she'd sing Wind Beneath My Wings.
Bette Midler, a huge song.
She gets up to the podium, the music starts, and she just freezes. She can't do it.
She just lets out this, guttural cry and walks off stage.
And honestly,
Yeah.
I see that as her first real act of rebellion. It was the first time she didn't perform for her mother. Her body just refused.
But that old programming takes a while to crumble. After her mom dies, the eating disorder, it doesn't stop. It just morphs.
Right. The external control is gone, so internal chaos takes over.
Yeah.
The anorexia, which is all about restriction, swings into bulimia, binging and purging. It's messy and violent.
And she starts looking for that chaos in her relationships. We have to talk about Steven.
Oh, Steven, the Jesus boyfriend.
He thinks it's love. And then he sits her down for a serious talk. Now, usually that means I'm seeing someone else.
Or I'm moving away.
Right. But Steven looks her dead in the eye and says, Jennette, I am the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
It is a jaw-dropping moment. The guy was having a severe schizophrenic break. But the insight isn't just that she gated him. It's her realization.
She realizes she attracts chaos because chaos feels like home.
If you grow up in a burning building, a house fire feels like a cozy fireplace. She didn't know how to be with someone stable.
But this is where things start to turn. She finds a therapist, Jeff, the punkless therapist.
And he challenges her. He's the first person to suggest her mother was abusive. And she fights him on it. She screams at him. Because if her mom was abusive, then her whole life was a lie.
But she eventually accepts it. And that acceptance gives her the strength to make the biggest decision of her life.
She quits acting.
And her team is horrified. They offer her a massive Netflix show. They tell her, come on, Jennette, be a good sport.
And that phrase, good sport, it's like a key.
It's the epiphany. She realizes that was the manipulation tactic used on her entire life. Being a good sport meant letting people walk all over her.
And for the first time, she decides not to be a good sport. She quits.
Such a triumph. And as she's shedding that old life, more secrets come out. Her dad, Mark, sits her down and drops a bombshell.
He tells her he is not her biological father.
Her whole life, Mom lied about her DNA.
It's the final layer of deception. And Jennette actually goes to track down her bio-dad. He plays trombone in a jazz band. She goes to the club, watches him play.
And I was waiting for that big reunion scene, the hug.
She doesn't do it. She watches him. She realizes she doesn't know him, and she just leaves. She didn't need the Disney ending. She just needed the truth.
Which brings us to the final scene of the book, the closure. She visits her mother's grave.
And the scene is set so perfectly. There's a man nearby, mourning his wife, playing What a Fool Believes on a boombox. It's so absurd and real.
Jennette looks at the headstone. She's been trying to feel sad, trying to miss her, and she has this final realization.
She realizes she doesn't miss her. She realizes her life has only gotten better since her mother died, and instead of feeling guilty, like that little girl singing Jingle Bells, she accepts it.
She turns around, walks away, and decides not to come back.
That is the moment she becomes herself. Not Sam Puckett, not Mommy's angel. Just Jennette.
It's a story about the brutality of being a good daughter and the absolute necessity of killing that role to save yourself. It really forces you to ask, how much of what I do is for me and how much is a performance for someone else?
That is the question.
Well, that is a lot to process, but such an important story. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.